Hi YouTube. Okay, so I am back with my reviews back to back, baby. The Haves and the Have-Nots, season 4. Okay, it might be season 5, but whatever. When I type it on Google, it's season 4. So whatever. Season 4, episode 14, titled Mad Day. Now, by the title of this episode, you would really think that this is going to be an amazing episode, okay? You would think that crazy things are going to happen because it's Mad Day, but really this episode was like whack times 10. Like, honestly, this is why I'm late recording it, because I didn't want to, because this episode sucked, okay? So it's not going to take very long for me to get through this. Okay, so I'm just getting started. Okay, so it starts off, we're left off as usual. Benny was being arrested by the black police officer because he was in, like, he got a little bit of authority and forgot about his people, okay? And he is like, basically like arresting him, like it was like a wrongful arrest, and Mitch is like trying to back him up. He was like, don't worry about it, I won't tell your mama, like how about I call Veronica? He's like, man, no, don't call her. And the police officer is being difficult with him, like, oh, you're resisting arrest, I see. And he's like, dude, what are you talking about? I'm not resisting arrest. He's like, okay, so tell me where your sister is so we can get in contact with her. And he's like, no, I'm not telling you. Okay, so whatever. They proceed in arresting him, but then out of nowhere in TV land, we see Veronica walking down the hall. Like, what are the odds of that happening? So whatever. Veronica is walking down the hall in her red dress, the devil in her red dress, and she's like, what are you doing with my client? Benny, what's going on? He was like, man, dude, I don't know. She's like, you know what? Don't say anything. I'll be down to the station. I will talk to you then. Okay, great. So, coincidentally, in the same hospital, we knew that David was on his way to find Jeffrey. Well, Veronica just so happens to bump into him. She's so excited because, you know, she's like low-key trying to get her boo back, even after the way she treated him. So, she's like, oh, did you see my man getting arrested? Benny, did you get him arrested? And I'm like, Veronica, stop playing games, because he does not care about you and Benny's whatever y'all had going on anymore, okay? He's moved on to Erica, okay? He thinks he's moved on to younger and better, but she's a con artist. But anyways, so she's like asking him all these questions about Erica. So where'd you meet her? And he's like, I'm not answering any of your questions. Okay, whatever. So then he's like, where's Jeffrey? My signal doesn't work in here. I can't get in touch with him. So she's not answering his questions. So then he's like, okay, well, I'm going to check on Melissa. So he goes up to the nurse's station to ask about Melissa. And, of course, since she's probably under suicide watch at this point, they're like, so where in the world is Melissa? Like, that's what he's asking the nurses. And the nurse is like, well, I can't tell you because of her special case. Like, who are you to her? He was like, a friend. Okay, well, what's her last name? Shoot, I don't even know. Okay, yeah, you're her friend, but you don't know her last name. Like, David, you should say you was her lawyer or something. Like, made up something. Whatever the case, then Veronica is like, I'm not telling you the answer, because remember, you're not answering none of my questions, and I'm not answering none of your questions. So next thing you know, he goes to sit down. He was like, I'll just sit here and wait for her. And he was like, I can't believe you pushed that girl to try to kill herself. I'm so glad I'm done with you and this is over and done with. So Veronica is like, you know what? When I'm getting irritated by you, okay? When you are married, I'm paraphrasing everything, okay? When you are married to someone, you know, you tell them all your deepest, darkest secrets because you're vulnerable with them, and then you don't know that one day a mad day will come. And in that mad day, everything could be unleashed. And he's like, girl, please, I am not like bothered by you. Like, I'm not scared. So whatever. So next thing you know, he decides, when he's sitting there, he's like basically calling her like a howling wolf. Like, girl, you just talking. And so Jim just pops up behind them like howling like a wolf. You're like, what the heck is this? Out of nowhere. It's Jim. So he's there, of course, always to harass Veronica, but he's like, look, I want to make sure you're keeping up your end of the deal, you know. You're keeping your lips sealed, you know, our whole little situation. And she's like, yeah, don't worry about me. I got my stuff under control. Do you have your stuff under control? He's like, I always do. And she was like, really? Like your son? And he was like, what did you do to my son? And she's like, look, I didn't have to do anything to him, okay? He's like really like hell-bent on like killing himself. So he's in the hospital. You probably want to check on him. So he's like, what? And he flips out. So he goes to the nurse's station and he's asking the nurse, like, is Wyatt Cryer here? And then she's like, who are you? I'm his father. Is he here? Sir, I can't tell you any information. You're going to have to talk to his doctor. He's like, his doctor? He has a doctor? Oh my gosh. Well, duh, because he's a patient in the hospital. You didn't believe Veronica, but she actually, like, low-key helped you out. Okay, so, y'all, I got a lot of notes here, okay? I'm so sorry. Okay, yeah. He's still freaking out. Nurse is not giving him any information. Next scene, flips to Jeffrey. So Jeffrey goes to go see Melissa. You know, Jeffrey has been evil to her this whole time. Then all of a sudden he feels bad because she tried to kill herself. So he's checking on her and like kind of trying to make things right. Well, at this point, Melissa is just not having it. She's like, you know what? I'm checked out. I'm done. I'm tired of you and your mother. The only person that ever loved me was my father. And Jeffrey's like, well, what about your mother? She was like, my mother? Like, she's just like your mother. So, no. And then he's like, well, Melissa, I just want to make sure you're okay. She was like, get out of my face. I'm telling you. Melissa, like, looked kind of, like, possessed in that moment. Like, she really is depressed. Because, like, if her head could start turning in circles, it would. She was like, get out. Like, if her voice could get any deeper, if she could have hopped out that bed and strangled him herself, like, she would have. So Jeffrey is like, you know what? You ain't got to tell me twice, okay? That's fine. I'm going to go check on my boo. So, he goes to check on Wyatt, okay? At this point, Wyatt is kind of like putting down one dependency for another. He's now becoming dependent on Jeffrey. He's like, you know, I'm so sorry for the way I've treated you throughout the years. Anna is in the room when all this is going on. I'm so sorry for the way I've treated you. I mean, you know, please don't leave me. Like, you're the only person that's ever loved me. And Jeffrey is like, I'm not gonna like leave you. Like, I'm always gonna be here, but like, you can't depend on me. Like, you have to get better. He's like, yes, just please don't leave. Please don't. Oh man, I'm so cold. I'm so cold. Cause he's going through withdrawal. So, you know, Jeffrey decides to leave out of the room and go to the nurse and ask for some blankets. Okay, so this was like the most unreal part of the show. Okay, because he goes out there to ask the nurse for some blankets. While he's asking her, Justin, the police officer, Mr. Down Low over here, is like notices Jeffrey in the hospital. So he like gets like real excited. Justin, of course, not Jeffrey. So Jeffrey asks the nurse for the blankets, and she just coincidentally has them sitting on her desk and hands them to Jeffrey. And I'm like, could you have been a little bit more realistic in that moment? Like, could you have at least like opened up a cabinet and took them out? Whatever. So Justin is trying to stop Jeffrey to talk to him, and Jeffrey is like, look, I'm dealing with my friend right now, okay? There's a lot of stuff going on. I need to talk to Wyatt. I can't talk to you right now. I'll talk to you later. Okay, whatever. So Jeffrey goes into the room. He's still like consoling Wyatt and checking on him, and basically they're trying to get Wyatt to go to sleep. And Justin even opens the door and was like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? Jeffrey's like, no, this is not a good time. Well, can I please talk to you for a second? No, this is not a good time. Just shut the door. He was like, well, I'm just going to be waiting outside. Okay, cool, whatever. And Anna had left out at one point. Then she came back in, and Jeffrey was like, is that police officer still standing outside the door? And he was like, yeah, he's been out there for like an hour. This boy is whipped, okay? Wyatt had ended up falling asleep during that time, but before he fell asleep, Wyatt was like, what's up with this dude? Like, you really need to get away from him. Like, he's crazy. Something is wrong with him. Yes, we are all aware of Wyatt. Okay. Anyway, so Anna goes to relieve Jeffrey, and Anna was like, you know, he really loves you. Jeffrey was like, he's not gay. And she's like, does he have to be gay to love you? Like, two men can't just like love each other and it not be nothing like sexually involved. Like, he loves you as a friend, like as family. And he's like, oh, okay. And he's like, yeah, just make sure he doesn't start depending on you. Okay, great. So the next thing you know, it go hop to Catherine and Hannah. So Catherine brings Hannah to like one of her many little extra properties, her houses. Catherine tells her she's leaving Jim. Hannah is really not phased because Hannah's never liked Jim. Catherine tells her to go upstairs and to change. Hannah doesn't really want to change. She starts having another like meltdown about her grandson. She didn't make my tears fall this time. Okay, because I've like already gone through these emotions with Hannah. Okay, but she goes to like finally like wash the blood off of her, and you could tell she really didn't want to because it was like the last piece of her grandson that she had left with her, but she's all bloody, so she had to get washed off. Catherine supposedly gave her some real strong medicine that was going to knock her out and basically like shut off her thoughts for a second. Okay, so next thing you know, Oscar pops up at Candace's hotel room, drops a bag of money on the bed, opens it up, like it looks like it's stacks of money. He's like, there's $250K, okay? I need you to do this job, okay? My investors, like, they want this to get done, and you're my only way to get this done. And she's like, no, but I'm keeping this money because you owe me anyway because you stole my money from me. He was like, it wasn't your money. It was Jim Cryer's money. She was like, well, I earned it, okay? It was my money. He was like, no, you blackmailed him. She was like, you know what? This $250K is mine and you still owe me the rest of my money, so get to it. And he was like, no, like, you're gonna do the job or I'm taking my money back. They're like wrestling back and forth. She's like, if you don't let it go, I'll scream. And he was like, no, Candace, you have to do this job. He was like, I know you don't think you're doing it on your own. She was like, what, you don't think I'm smart enough? I will do this on my own, okay? Plus, he's really not a bad guy. Why do you not want him to win? Look, he just can't win this time, okay? Whatever the case, she starts screaming so that Oscar can get out of her face. And when he leaves out, she starts opening up the stacks. And she notices, like, oh, these aren't even stacks of money. It's just the front bill and the back bill. So she got, like, a little bit of change if she want to get some clothes or something to eat or something. But, like, she's not, like, rolling in dough like that. Because he knows Candace. Like, you really don't just drop $250K on her bed. Like, she really is just going to just take it. Okay. So, next thing you know, we go to the end of the show where it's Jeffrey sees Justin in the hallway. Justin pulls him into the stairwell, and they're talking privately. Really, like, Justin is like all over him. Like, I've been thinking about you so much. Oh my gosh, I can't get you off my mind. Whatever you do to me just has me like all off and like La La Land in my head. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me. And like, he trying to push up on him, and Jeffrey is like, no, bruh, like, I don't even want this, like, no. And he's like, please, 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 I really love you. And he's like, look, I'm here to check on Wyatt and Melissa. He's like, who's Melissa? He was like, my fiance, like, she's having my baby. He was like, what? Like, you're getting married? What? Like, dude, like, you've been married this whole time, okay? So, whatever the case, next thing you know, Jeffrey, like, basically has to fight him off of him, and then Jeffrey walks out. Next thing you know, the devil in the red dress herself, Miss Veronica, the Ice Queen, is walking up the steps talking about, oh, so you're married. So, the end of the episode was better than the whole rest of the episode. But anywho, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. Check me out at mrsblogaholic.com. Bye.